It's a magical feeling watching the code and visuals I handcrafted come to life. It inspires awe in me even after years of game dev, which makes it even worse when my own bad code screws everything up and breaks my immersion with stupidity. Welcome to the 5th devlog for Orbit Economica. Today we'll be reworking the combat and war code for fleets. Get ready for some space violence. Let's start at the very beginning though. What do we even want the AI to do in a war? Imagine this: a massive fleet emerges from hyperspace above a vulnerable colony world. Without orbital protection, the planet's surface defenses won't last long against sustained bombardment from orbit. This illustrates one of the core principles we're building into our AI warfare system. Control of orbital space is absolutely crucial. So the AI needs to master two interconnected priorities. First, AI fleet commanders must position their fleets to shield allied worlds from enemy bombardment and invasion. Second, AI fleets need to systematically clear enemy ships from orbit around targeted enemy worlds. This paves the way for their allied nations to launch successful planetary invasions. What excites me about this system is how it naturally creates ebbs and flows in the wider war. Every fleet battle has rippling consequences. A decisive victory doesn't just destroy enemy ships, it opens up the whole sector to invasion. A desperate last stand protecting a key world can buy crucial time for reinforcements to arrive and prevent death and destruction. In order to try and isolate the wartime code, I created a special mode where the galaxy is split up between only two nations and two guilds which ally each other and then immediately go to war against the other side. This makes it easy to observe what is happening during a galactic war. I also added a nice little description tag on AI fleets to see what they are doing at any given moment to try and track what's happening better. This will of course be hidden for real gameplay, but it helps me try and debug what's going on. With all that set up, we can now observe how the wartime code for the fleets is working. And already we can see a problem. When the fleets go to siege a planet, they are correctly picking a border planet between the two nations, but it's not the one close to them, it's across the entire galaxy. The problem is that the current code is searching for a border planet that is unprepared for combat and prioritizing low combat readiness as the top requirement. It just so happens that the border planet on the other side of the galaxy is the weakest border planet, and thus the massive distance is acceptable to the fleet's code. Ideally, I want the fleets to consider distance to themselves as a top priority, and then as a lesser priority which border planet is weak, but only after filtering by border and proximity to yourself. The one issue with this is that fleets move in unison to target planets. Because I want guilds to concentrate their force at a narrow target, if each fleet picked a planet, even a strong guild could split off their fleets and be taken out one by one by the player. If you've played Paradox games like EU4 or Victoria 2, you know what I mean. So it becomes necessary to calculate the middle location between all of the guild's fleets, then calculate the distance to an acceptable border planet from that midpoint, and then send all the combat fleets to that location together. And with those changes coded up, we can see the fleets are correctly targeting a close-by border planet. Excellent. Next up, while working on combat fleet planet targeting, I noticed that trade fleets were also joining battles, which is not supposed to be happening. The player is free to combine fleet components in any way they like. You can feel free to make mega expensive trade and combat fleets that can do all of everything at once. But the guild AIs have a mandate to keep a certain amount of fleets for trade and a certain amount for combat. Trade fleets prioritize cargo space and speed, but are very soft and don't pack in much firepower, meaning they should be fleeing from combat, not joining it. After a little tinkering in the code, I got trade fleets successfully running away from enemies. They attempt to find a safe planet to flee to, and if they can't find a 100% safe one, they pick a random one and hope for the best by the time they arrive. You may have noticed in some of my clips that the fleets were animating. After I spent long enough zoomed in and intently watching fleet movements, I got annoyed with their lack of aesthetics and hammered out a nice animation system. There was actually a surprising amount of nuance to code because I wanted fleets to turn and face the planet they were disembarking from, and move to the side nicely when they arrived at a target planet. The contrails were added after the animation. Unity has a very easy to use built-in trail tool, and I just had to make a few tweaks to get it to work right with my turn-based framework. And voila! Animated fleets and trails, which added a nice bit of pizzazz to the visuals of Orbit Economica. So now with the changes in place, let's observe a war again to see the new code in action. As you can see, the combat fleets are correctly engaging each other. Once one side has the upper hand, they're moving to siege nearby border planets, and then continuing from there deeper into the heart of the enemy nation. In the normal game, wars end after one planet is conquered, but here I have disabled that so it's a forever war. Perfect. Everything is looking great and the logic is functioning as I intended. If you would like to wishlist Orbit Economica, you can find the link to Steam in the description below. If you like what you saw here and want more, please like and subscribe. Thanks for watching!